specific goals identified by IEPs and targeted through small group or individual intervention, and curriculum to support the academic need of students with disabilities. These actions will increase the time spent in general education classrooms to 85% and an overall increase in academic achievement by more than 5%. Both schools are very limited with available funding. Browns Valley only has $59,719 allocated, while Cordova has even less, with $45,289. Before we conclude, I'd like to do a quick highlight of both schools. This is the amazing Browns Valley Elementary School. I have included pictures of our PBIS rallies and assemblies, as well as some of our fun events the PTA has hosted. And this is the amazing Cordova Elementary School. I have also included pictures of our rallies, as well as some of our PBIS experiences and fun events our PTA has hosted. Thank you for this opportunity to share about these extraordinary schools. Please visit our website or reach out to us if you'd like to learn more about the Browns Valley Beavers or the Cordova Comets.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Ms. White? Well, all I can tell you is you're off to a running start, and it looks great.
Thank you very much.
And I know it's a day by day, but it certainly looks like you're making progress.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for sharing your great presentation.
Thank you.
Our second presentation is Kovalat.
Good evening, members of the school board, cabinet, staff, and community members of MJUSD. My name is Karen Dow. I'm the principal, the proud principal of Mary Kovalat Elementary, and I'm joined here tonight by our assistant principal, Mr. Dale Van Loo. Please enjoy our presentation. Mary Kovalat Elementary, Principal Karen Dow, Assistant Principal Dale Van Loo. We have developed our school plan for student achievement by reviewing data and consulting with stakeholder groups. Our SIPSA goals are aligned with MJUSD Local Control Accountability Plan goals. Our school community is made up of 24 certificated and 19 classified staff members and 521 total students, 16% of which are English language learners, 19% of which are special education students, 3% are identified as homeless, with less than 1% identified as foster youth. 63% of our learners are socioeconomically disadvantaged. Our comprehensive needs assessment focuses on the following data: the 22-23 CASP test results, our current STAR reading or early literacy reading tests taken in August by all kinder through 5th grade students and in November by all 1st through 5th grade students. Our STAR math test results from August given to all kinder through 5th grade learners, and finally, Aries Analytics data on discipline and attendance. The results provided here are utilized during grade level PLC meetings, which occur twice a week every week, staff meetings, which occur monthly, and on the PD days in August and October. Our students dropped 10% in 3rd and 4th grade and 4% in 5th grade on the English language arts portion of the CASP test. However, we are almost identical to the state average, and we saw improvement in the subgroups of students with disabilities and students identified as 2 or more races. Our staff is motivated to improve CASP scores by more than 10% and focused on standards-based targeted interventions. So far, the STAR reading and early literacy tests show tremendous growth from August to November. In STAR reading, students have grown 5% in the at or above benchmark category, and we've decreased in the categories of on watch, students needing intervention, and students needing urgent intervention. Students taking the STAR early literacy test show a growth of 2% in the at or above benchmark category and 6% in the on watch category, with a decrease in intervention and urgent intervention groups. We are moving in the right direction towards our goal of a 10% increase in reading and comprehension across the board. CASP math results showed that our students improved by 9% in 3rd and 5th grade and by 10% in 4th grade, and we saw an increase in math scores in every subgroup. We also exceeded the state average. Our goal is to continue to increase our scores by 5% by focusing on targeted interventions based on common grade level assessments and benchmarks. The STAR math scores in August showed that half of our school was at or above benchmark to begin the year. Attendance data shows a decrease from previous years in chronic absences and truancy, which resulted in a slight increase in ADA. We will continue our efforts in getting our learners to school and educating families on the importance of student attendance. Special shout out to transportation for opening up a second bus route on Highway 70. Discipline data shows a decrease in previous year's suspensions. We need to continue developing our PBIS initiatives and continue providing SEL learning, focusing on assisting students to communicate with words instead of actions and make better choices. Our actions and success criteria. Goal 1 is to improve academic performance and addressing student needs. In an effort to increase test scores by at least 5%, Covalod funds 2 full-time paras that support grade-level interventions in math and ELA daily. We also fund a full-time library resource technician, purchase highly engaging books and resources to support AR, and promote literacy. So far this year, we have read over 14,000 books. Goal 2, creating a safe environment. In an effort to increase attendance rates and drop suspension rates, our counselor and outreach consultant work in classrooms weekly, providing structured lessons on character development and nurture children's social emotional competence and foundational learning skills. We are really looking forward to the completion of our new building and are thankful to the trustees, Superintendent Dr. Azrani, and the cabinet for making this possible. Goal 3, prepare for college and career. At Covalod, we celebrate reading and behavioral goals every week at our Walk of Fame. We also offer 16 before and after school clubs focused on tutoring, as well as skill-based clubs like coding, cricket club, chess club, and Cougar Connect. Cougars learn how to collaborate and practice effective communication daily on our campus. We also facilitate a career day each year on October 31st. Goal 4, support for English learner, foster, and low SES students. In an effort to increase reclassification and improve LPAC scores, teachers work with EL students 30 minutes each day on targeted standards. Our EL facilitator also works with small groups and leads after-school tutoring. We have redesignated 4 students so far this year. Our ORC works hard to assist foster and low SES students, connecting families to needed resources in our area and assuring student and family success. Goal 5, home to school partnerships. Each learner was given a detailed calendar of events to begin the year. We send monthly newsletters, parent square messages, and utilize the marquee to publicize events. We have many activities on campus, including our fall fun run, family game night, most recently breakfast with Santa, and our newest addition, the Cougar Ball, as well as many other activities listed here. Goal 6, improving access and inclusion. Covalod supports 1 resource room and 1 SDC classroom. Our RSP teacher and para support students in all grade levels and work daily with over 10% of our students. Our SDC classroom supports students grades 2 through 5. Learners spend time in both general education classrooms as well as their SDC classroom in order to best support individual student success. Our total budget for 23-24 was $367,166 and is broken down as reflected here.
Are there any questions following that? Well, I can't tell you how impressed I am with what you guys are doing there. And I saw that your Spirit Squad won the Christmas parade.
We sure did, and we also won first place in the tree decorating. So we were pretty excited at Covalon.
You guys are off to a great start.
Yes.
Thank you for everything you do there, and thank your staff. I know how dedicated they are there.
Certainly are. Thank you.
Thank you. Now our third presentation is the Olivehurst Elementary School Site Plan for 2023-24.
Good evening, board, cabinet, members of the audience. I wanted to thank some of the Olivehurst Elementary School staff that is here to watch our presentation. I'm Heather Marshall, principal at Olivehurst Elementary, and I wanted to send along regards from Mr. Green, our assistant principal. We were a little bit of a late add to this board meeting. I think we were originally scheduled for February, so he did have a prior engagement, but we put it together together. So thank you so much for allowing us to present.
Thank you.
Good evening, board trustees, Superintendent Azrani, members of cabinet, and members of the audience. My name is Heather Marshall, principal at Olivehurst Elementary School, along with John Green, assistant principal. We're honored to be sharing with you tonight. Olivehurst Elementary developed a school plan for student achievement, or SIPSA, aligned to the goals in the LCAP. Here is some information on the makeup of our campus and student body. To gather information for the needs assessment, which is part of the SIPSA, meetings are had with advisory groups and data is pulled from various resources. Taking a look at some of the data, starting with attendance, this year we're trending in the right direction with a decrease in chronic absences, down from last year. Here's our discipline data. Our suspensions have increased, but we are working hard on systems that will support a decrease in this category to include wellness para, more resources for our wellness room, and fundings towards building PBIS. This is our CASP data. You can see that 3rd through 6th graders increased by 1.5% in met or exceeded achievement levels in ELA, and by 3% in math. This is a really small gain, but we are excited about it. And we wanted to drill down to see where our specific progress was happening. Our 6th grade cohort showed significant growth as they moved from 4th to 6th grade. I'll show you in the next 2 slides. This shows last year's 6th graders as they went from 21.67 meets and exceeds in their 4th grade year with the same group of kids to 32.31% meets and exceeds in their 6th grade year last year for ELA. And from 9.84 meets and exceeds in 4th grade, again, same 6th graders from last year, to 25% meets and exceeds in math. So we want to build on this, and this year we've already given our first interim assessment. We already have collaborated, discussed results, and have a plan to continue that practice for next year until we take the large summative test. The next 2 slides I'd like to share feature universal screener data. In reading, students at above benchmark increased from 18.4 at the beginning of the year to 28.8% in November. So this is looking at that green band across the top. And in math, students at above benchmark increased from 32.2% at the beginning of the year to 43.8% in November, showing that our tiered interventions and data-driven PLC are having a positive impact. LCAP Goal 1 is to improve academic performance. To further this, we prioritize a technology lead, supplementary materials, and we use funds for Guiding Coalition, which is a teacher leadership group that meets and works with data, intervention, ELD, and systems that will help increase student achievement. LCAP Goal 2 creates an environment that addresses physical, emotional, and safety needs of students and staff, which we do through our Nest Wellness Center. And we also have an official PBIS team that I mentioned that's working diligently with Placer County Office of Education. LCAP Goal 3 is to prepare students for college and career. To do this at Olivehurst, we prioritize a half-time assistant principal, LRT, supplementary materials, and also technology materials. We have new touchscreen LCD projectors purchased and mostly installed in every classroom. LCAP Goal 4 is to build a system of supports for our vulnerable students. At Olivehurst Elementary School, one of the ways that we work towards this is having 4 para-educators that work with teachers to provide small groups for intervention as well as designated ELD time. LCAP Goal 5 is to improve homeschool partnerships. We have increased family and community involvement in a number of ways. For the first time in many years, Olivehurst Elementary School has established a PTA. We did so in May of last year, and to date, we have 89 members. They've put on events, are fundraising, and making that much needed family and community mark on our school. We also created a Facebook page, and we're trying to grow it. So if you don't already, please follow us on Facebook. We send out a newsletter each month and communicate through Parent Square. We've also been working closely with Blue Zones and Say Love because our community partnerships are really important to us. The last LCAP goal is 6, which is to improve access and inclusion for special education students. Olivehurst Elementary School is proud of our Learning Center, which we call the Soaring Zone, and our special education team. I'll let you read more at your leisure, but this is a part of a presentation given to our staff about our Learning Center model, started in 2016 with a grant. Currently, we serve 38 students through the Soaring Zone receiving specialized academic instruction, and we also run a Tier 3 intervention program for general education in the Soaring Zone as well. We were featured in the Gold Gazette March of last year. I've provided a link in green to the right if you want to read the whole article. Our total budget in our site plan is listed on this slide, including a breakdown of allocations. And finally, here are some photos. In the top left, you can see last month our PTA put on an outdoor movie night for students and families. Everyone got bundled up and there was hot chocolate. Underneath that is a really meaningful photo. It's from May of last year, where I already alluded to our PTA starting from scratch. To the right are photos of our school garden. It was founded in the 80s and has lovingly grown from there. The top photo shows a garden cleanup day. We had that with Say Love and Blue Zones. I said we've been working closely with Blue Zones Group, and we have. I'm so proud to say that in October, Blue Zones executives from all over, including internationally, visited the Yuba-Sutter area and some of the projects the local Blue Zones Group is working with. They visited Olivehurst Elementary School and our garden as just one of their stops. So thank you for letting me speak on behalf of Olivehurst Elementary School, and thank you to the students, families, staff, and surrounding community who all work together to make our school so amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Are there any questions from the board?
Congratulations on getting your PTA started. That is huge, getting parents involved and your community partnerships with Say Love and Blue Zones. Bravo.
Thank you so much. We're so excited about it. That picture was a really big deal. I mean, I think that 3rd District PTA said that there hasn't been one at Olivehurst Elementary, I want to say at least in decades. It's been a really long time. And so the way the community came out and the involvement that we've already seen, 89 members is kind of a big deal. So we're really, really excited. Thank you.
I was going to comment on the same thing. The 89 member blew my mind because you only have 493 students.
Yeah.
And if a family has an average of 2 students, you literally took half of the parents to actually be in that PTA.
Yeah, and the kudos for that go to obviously the community and the parents, but also the staff. One of them is sitting over there too. They really, who has been a really big part of it. Kelly Bielski and Miranda Denton are two of the teachers who really were integral in starting it. And I'll tell you, if you go visit the site and you run into one of them, they'll hand you an envelope to go ahead and join PTA. So just so you're ready.
Well, it looks like you're doing a great job there, and seeing that garden revived.
Yes, thank you for being there.
It's from an old soil scientist. It gave me a lot of pleasure. So,
yes, and you gave us some good advice too. Thank you.
well, thank you, and keep up the good work, and thank that great staff of yours.
Okay, thank you so much.
Now we have updates by department. Administrative Services.
Thank you. I'm going to keep it real short. We just had our 80th day. We've been tracking attendance every 20 days. It kind of makes it easy for us, and our commit to 180 days. We have more than a 1.5% increase in ADA this year over last year, which has been great. Then we maintained that through October, which is not always easy to do. So we're really excited about that. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Brian? Okay. Business Services, Jennifer.
Thank you. I have Mr. Knudsen with Caltrans here tonight. He's going to do a short presentation on the widening of 70 and answer any questions that the board might have. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
I think there was emphasis on the short, but I'm here to answer any questions you guys have. First, I just want to express appreciation to Jennifer and other staff, Greg and Doug. It's been incredible to work with as we work with the school district. So wonderful staff and appreciate them. So the project is long name Binney Junction Roadway Rehabilitation and Complete Streets Project. Let's see. Yeah, it works. So the purpose of the project is to improve the safety evacuations. We, you know, several years ago we had the Oroville Dam incident, and there's always things, fires. So the project will help that. Increase sight distance, provide operational improvements, and I'll go over how the project is going to address each of these. Improve bicycle and pedestrian facilities, provide standard shoulders. As you know, a lot of the place we don't have any shoulders currently. Increase vertical clearance at the can opener and both bridges, and reduce maintenance expenditures. So that's the purpose of the project. So the project benefits are much the same, with the added, we're going to upgrade current ADA standards. All the roadway will be upgraded to that, and we'll be addressing safe routes to school. And one of the really big things that I'm from Marysville. All my kids went to Marysville High School, graduated here. So I've been in the community about 25 years, and this railroad kind of separates East and West Marysville. And so one of the neat things about this project that I think is going to happen is it's going to open up between the two parts of the city and kind of make it so it doesn't feel like we're so separated. So that's, I think, one of the really big benefits of the project. So I'm going to try to zoom in. Hey, it's working. Nope. All right. Can you help me back up a little bit? I'm on the wrong page. We went in more. Oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you. So the project is going to extend. It starts just south of 14th Street, and it, as you know, currently that second lane going northbound ends just right about the Dollar Tree. So you have a single lane going all the way to the north. The project is going to extend that second lane. It'll go all the way up through 24th Street, just past the school, and underneath the Binney Junction structure, which is the second bridge is up here. So the Marysville underpass, the Binney Junction underpass are the two structures. And so we're gonna have that second lane going northbound all the way past 22nd, and then it'll phase down into one lane. We'll reduce it down to one lane to match the new bridge that we have going over Simmerly Slough to the north. Also coming southbound, you'll come in with one lane off that bridge, and as you get to the intersection at 24th Street, it'll open up to 2 lanes, and you'll have 2 lanes all the way southbound. At 14th Street, you'll still maintain that right turn that we have currently, but you'll have 2 lanes through. Some of the really nice features that we're going to be adding at 18th Street and 24th Street, it currently has 1 left turn lane and a shared kind of right turn. It's all the same. So the project will have 2 left turn lanes because we have a receiving lane now. So we'll have 2 left turn lanes and then the right turn to get out of 18th and 24th Street. So those will be, can't zoom in, or I would show you a little bit better, but I'm not gonna mess around with that. Friends helping me out over here. So that's some of the operational improvements. I'm gonna skip to the next page if I could, let's see. Nope. So I was gonna, let's see. If you could go to page 4, I think, there you go. So the project is gonna have, this is just a typical cross-section, and some of these are a little outdated, but the project, as I said, two northbound lanes, 2 southbound lanes all the way through the school. We're gonna have 8-foot shoulders, and it says 6-foot sidewalks, so they're gonna be 8-foot sidewalks. And the really good thing is that's going to be all the way on both sides of the road, all the way through 24th Street. So at the new structure at the Marysville, this is just kind of a display of what that's going to look like. Again, it'll be 8-foot sidewalks. You can see the little dash lines. The road's going to be lowered underneath there 6 feet, and to give us the vertical clearance of 17.6. Currently northbound it's 13.10, and southbound it's 14.1. It used to be 14.1 northbound, but one of the last hits in the bridge, the railroad had to weld a piece of steel across there to strengthen the bridge up. So the little dash lines you see up there, that's what the current road looks like, where it's roughly located and what the new one's gonna be. So the thing that the tunnel, I love the artwork at the tunnel. It's helped drastically to make that a much more pleasant experience. It hasn't always been that way. But now it's gonna be open. We don't have to worry about it. There's gonna be open sidewalks through there. We're gonna be able to have bicycles on the shoulders. One of the things we're gonna have that's not depicted in this picture is on the west side, or the southbound side, we're going to have a multi-use path as well as a sidewalk for bicyclists both directions. So that's kind of a new development that we're working with some of the bicycle groups and things in town to help with that coordination. So that's that bridge, and then this is the Binney Junction underpass. Also not depicted as the sidewalk. There will only be a sidewalk on the west side or the southbound side. That path will go up and to connect the levee trail. It's the levee maintenance road, but everybody uses it as a bicycle path, and it's maintenance, levee maintenance. So that'll safely connect them up there, and there'll be a sidewalk up to connect to the sidewalk on Simmerly Slough. So that, I'm trying to think, one thing that we've worked with Greg and his team on at the bus, and I can't, let's see. I wish I could show, so could you zoom in over, Right, yeah, right there. So we're gonna add a signal at 16th Street. A new signal will be added there, and a signal is gonna be added at 24th Street. That's gonna be a huge help to get people in and out. Yeah, it'll be a huge improvement. Again, the two-way left turns lanes, but we work with Greg and his team, and you'll notice that new exit out of where the buses are parked. They currently come out on the left side, and I tried to get a laser pointer, but I don't have one. I couldn't find one. But so they come out and go out the driveway really close to the intersection where the people are coming in and coming out. They don't have a lot of sight distance, not a lot of warning. And I don't know if you guys have driven many buses. I haven't driven a lot, but I've driven some big equipment, and it doesn't go so fast. But so we're going to relocate that entrance off for the buses to come off by the baseball field, and they'll come out onto 24. So they're going to have a lot more room to maneuver in and out, and so that's going to be a huge improvement. The green lines, when you guys look at this presentation where you can zoom in and out, the green line is all the track realignment. We're going to have to reconstruct. We're reconstructing two bridges, or not reconstructing, we're going to construct two new bridges, one at Marysville and a single structure up at Binney Junction, and then again lowering the road. That's what you see the construction going out there now. We're building two big pumping plants so water doesn't pool up in pond. We don't make a bathtub for everybody at those. So that's what the pump houses are. They're depicted by the blue, those blue spots. And I have gone more than my 5 or 10 minutes, but any questions?
Any questions from the board?
Yes, thank you for those lights. Also, for the commuters, that for ingress, egress, going out of town, maybe heading north or south, I'm assuming you're going to do one bridge at a time?
So, yeah, kind of. So the construction we're going to build largely at night. Anything that has to do with any traffic restrictions or lane restrictions will be done at night. Otherwise, during the daytime, you'll have two lanes. It'll operate much the same. We may shift traffic now and again, but it'll operate much the same. You'll have two lanes, one in each direction during the daytime, the peak travel times. So any operations, any work that has to be done will be done at night.
Thank you.
I have a question regarding, you said up a new pumping station?
Pumping plants, yep.
So will that be under your jurisdiction, or will there be a reclamation district in charge of those?
No, it's Caltrans will own those.
Okay,
and operate them, yeah. Good question.
One question I have for you is where you're widening there at the can opener and opening up that area. Will there be lighting underneath there?
Yeah, so we'll have lights underneath the structures. That, again, will help with the pedestrians and the bicyclists and stuff. It'll be an inviting place to go, someplace where you feel comfortable being. You're not trapped or hidden from, whatever's going on. You'll be in the public and you'll be able to be seen. So it'll feel and be much safer.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, we do have a lot of students that use that same tunnel. Is there going to be some kind of barrier between the sidewalk and the roadway?
No, but there's going to be 8 feet of shoulders and an 8-foot sidewalk. So there's going to be 2 lanes. So it's not going to be crowded at all. Like how you feel now, it's going to be drastically different. One other thing, at 16th Street, we're going to put a signal to it. The 17th is going to be closed off because the road's going to drop. So we're going to put that signal at 16th Street. As you know, there's a lot of students that also come out of there. We put in a crosswalk and a flashing beacon several years ago, and it works kind of. But we're going to have a controlled intersection with modern push buttons, and so they'll be able to cross there. They're not going to have to as much. They could choose to cross there or at 18th Street because there'll be a sidewalk on both sides. So they'll have their options that they don't now. And so they'll be able to safely cross the road at either of those signalized intersections, which is another huge improvement for safety for the students.
Well, thank you very much for a great update. Do you have a question?
Yeah. So with the widening of the street and the concern for students being able to walk through the sidewalk and whatnot, what's the current rating for the speed on the street? And is that going to change with widening it to 2 lanes, given that it's now going to connect to the main highway?
It's currently 35 until you get up, and I don't see that changing.
Okay.
As you drive through Marysville, that's the speed limit through Marysville is 35. It was changed a couple of years ago. It used to be 25, but they did some speed surveys and it raised to 35, and that's what it currently is. I don't see that changing through there.
What's your time of completion of ballpark?
So the ballpark is summer, fall of 2027. That's one thing that I forgot. I talked to Jennifer. Like, I went through this, and there's a couple things that I didn't strike out. This is kind of an older presentation other than a few slides, but this construction schedule, right now we're constructing the pumping plants. Those should be completed end of April is our target date to be done with those. We're going to try to construct another section of this project. For the south end, we're going to start and try to construct up through 16th Street starting next summer, 2025, with our targets starting in June. It could start in July based on some right-of-way issues and stuff, but our target is June of next year and to construct, and it should be done around August, the end of August. We have the signal poles for some new signal poles at 14th Street and new signal poles at 16th Street. Those have some long lead times, so it may take us a little bit to construct that. But that goal is to be done, to have that done by the fall of 2025. And then we're working with the Army Corps and the railroad to get some permits and permissions and approvals for the rest of the project, which we're going to start hopefully in our target date is January of 25, or no, 26. Yeah, January 26, or no, it is 25. And then it ends on the mid 2027. There's a lot of work going on there.
Yeah, I was going to wait for the consent agenda, but I'm going to ask this since we have your attention, which is there's a request to
the right-of-way?
The right-of-way for the utility easement. And when I was looking at the drawings, I was under assumption that that was going to go to the pump houses, but the blue lines don't go to the pump house. So what is the intent of that Cal Water easement?
Intent, so it's been several board meetings ago, you guys approved a utility easement. Mm-hmm. It was a public utility easement. Since, in working with some of the utilities, they've needed their own easement. So that public utility easement, essentially, it's not split in half. We're not changing anything that you've already not approved, but we're designating it. So if Cal Water will have their designation, and AT&T, Comcast, others, PG&E will have the other designation or permission rights to that other piece of the easement. So the easement itself isn't changing, just the rights, who has rights to what part of the easement. So that's what you're voting on tonight. We're not changing, there's really no change to anything other than who's designated to be where. They needed their own rights to it. So.
Yeah, so then if I understand your response correctly, then when I'm looking at the drawing itself, the hash mark that is noted for easement for Cal Water, that is still within the lines that was approved in last year's?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's we're not changing it. It's just who has the rights to it, and it's specific to each utility or the utilities. Cal Water needed their own, PG&E and the others, and so it's not just before it was a public utility easement. So it's just how it's designated. And we're going to pay you a little more money.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your great presentation.
I'm available anytime if the board members would like, any of the board members. Obviously, there's the Brown Act, but I'm willing to come back to a meeting and make another presentation, or if one of you has a question, Jennifer has my email. It's also at the end of this presentation, my phone number, so don't hesitate to reach out and answer any questions you have. So,
well, thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Education Services, Jay.
I just want to highlight once again our monthly professional development report. It's there for your access, and I'd like to invite community members as well to check it out. It's been a busy November. We've had over 32 sessions, primarily in the areas of literacy and the pipeline to support our advanced placement classes. So I'm talking about the curriculum work that's happening in our honors classes. You can see by the budget that we have a 300% increase in the budget for the month of November. That just should tell you how many people are attending, over 250 attendees. So just want to acknowledge the teachers and the support staff who are attending the professional development, and my staff who's helping to coordinate all of it. Lastly, just want to wish everybody a happy holiday season.
Thank you, Jay. Are there any questions for Jay? Thank you. Personnel Services, Dr. Simon.
Thank you. Good evening, trustees, community. We have got exciting news, Mr. Trujillo and I, that today we had a grant conditionally approved to create and foster a CTE engineering pathway in the district. So this is a grant through the Commission on Teacher Credentialing that will allow teachers to get a supplementary authorization to teach engineering during, before, and after school. And we have 45 teachers in county interested across the district, which is a large percentage of our teachers. And there's certain sites, Johnson Park, shout out to them. They have a big core of teachers there that's excited about it, but it's all across the district. So we're excited to learn and pushing, working with UMass Global to grow our teacher residency cohort. We had 5 new members that are going to start classes in January, and then hope to have another 10 next year as well.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Dr. Simon? Thank you. Now we are at the consent agenda. Are there any items in the consent agenda that requires any more discussion by the board?
I would like to pull 20.3, please. Sorry.
That's new business.
Sorry.
No worries. Are there any other items? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Dr. Yang. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Steeman. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. Now we move to new business. Looks like I skipped approving our agenda, or our minutes of the last agenda. I guess I want to get to new business. Okay. We are at the approval of the November 14, 2023 regular board meeting minutes. Are there any additions or changes to the minutes? If not, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Mr. Criddle, Doug Criddle. Is there a second? Second by Gary Criddle. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. Now we move to new business. We are at 18.1. Second read, approve and adopt board policy 1113, district and school websites. Do we have any staff comment on this?
Yeah, I brought this for the first read at the last meeting. It hasn't been updated in a number of years. A lot has changed online, and so we want to make sure that we get this updated and make sure that we are current. So,
are there any questions for Brian? Now, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Allison Hasty. Is there a second? Second by Gary Criddle. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. Now we're at 18.2, second read. Approve and adopt board policy 1114, district-sponsored social media. Brian?
So again, second read, this is a policy that we actually have not had in the past. There are some protections that this gives us for a number of the things that we are now doing as we increase and as continue to increase our footprint online, and this gives us some protections on what we can allow and not allow. So,
are there any questions for Brian? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Frank Crawford. Is there a second? Second by Allison Hasty. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. Now we're at new Education Services 19.1. Second read, approve and adopt Board Policy 6184, continuing education. Jay?
Yes, sir. This is another opportunity for us to update our board policy concerning continuing education. It has been updated since 2008. You read it the last time. It's a pretty good write over for this policy, and just asking for your approval.
Are there any questions for Jay? If not, do I hear a motion? Motion approved by Allison Hasty. Is there a second? Second by Gary Criddle. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. Now we're at personnel. 20.1, 2023-24 initial bargaining proposal from MUTA to MJUSD, public disclosure and action. Dr. Simon.
Yes, thank you. So for each of these two items, one is MUTA's proposal, one is the district's negotiating proposal for certificated negotiations. You're going to open a public hearing for comment, close the hearing, and then ask the board for action on approving the Sunshine proposal. Sunshine is our way of publicly disclosing what we're going to negotiate at the table with MUTA. We have made a ton of progress last year, and so just have a few articles and loose ends to tie up with MUTA at the table for 23-24.
Are there any questions for Dr. Simon? If not, do I hear a motion?
You're going to open the public hearing, ask the public if they have comment, close that, and then put it up for action. For each one, you're going to do that.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Do we have any public comments or comments about this Sunshine situation?
If not, you can close the hearing.
Okay.
Motion to close.
Okay. Motion to close by Gary Criddle. Is there a second? Second by Allison Hasty. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. 2020.
So wait, can I interrupt? I'm sorry, President Davis. So we just had the public hearing. We closed that with no public comment. Then we need to do a separate motion for action on 20.1 and then do the same thing again for 20.2.
Sorry about that. We don't do this very often.
That's okay.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Gary Criddle. Second by Dr. Yang. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. Do the same thing.
One more time. This is the district's proposal to MUTA.
2023 initial bargaining proposal from MJUSD to MUTA, public disclosure and action. I'm opening the public comment section, or the public comment period. Are there any comments on this by anybody? If not, do I hear a motion?
Motion to close.
Motion to close by Gary Criddle. All those in favor, do I have a second? Second by Allison Hasty. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. Now we have a motion to accept.
To accept or approve the Sunshine proposal. Yep.
The Sunshine stuff. I'm lost. Is there a motion approved by Frank? Thank you, Frank, for saving. Frank Crawford has a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gary Criddle. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. Thank you for your indulgence. Now we have 20.3 resolution number 2023-2024, /10 regarding classified employee layoffs for the lack of work, lack of funds, Ed Code Section 45-117.
So to be clear, this resolution is due to lack of funds to reduce 12 health aide positions in the district. There was some information provided earlier from MUTA regarding alternative means to fund these positions, and appreciate MUTA and other groups thinking out of the box to do that. The challenge with the community schools grant and similar grants are they are for a short period of time. So it would if we funded positions with a grant, we could extend the positions about 4 years on the average for a grant. However, this grant and many other grants have a no supplanting rule, so we could not simply just say we're going to fund health aides with a community schools grant, as that would supplant or take the place of a position, funding a position that we're using other funds for. So we would actually have to have a new or different type of position using grant funds, and obviously grants take applications and have to be approved, which all the current community schools grant funds have been allocated and those plans are being implemented.
Dr. Simon, I have a question. So, sorry.
We have several
Public
comment cards. Emily McKinnon. Thank you, Emily.
Good evening. My name is Emily McKinnon, and I'm a 6th grade teacher at Johnson Park Elementary School. I'm going to walk you through a typical day of a health aide. 7:30 a.m., our health aide arrives and prepares for the day. 7:45 a.m., school doors open, and within minutes, you can already hear calls over the radio requesting the assistance of our health aide. Happened today. I wrote these comments a few days ago, but that actually happened today. 8 a.m., I take my 6th grade students to class, but the rest of the kids are out playing until their day starts at 8:30 a.m. A child scrapes their knee. Our health aide is called to help get the child cleaned up, bandaged, and calmed down enough to return to their class when it begins. All within that same 30 minutes, 3 more students need attention. A child needs an inhaler, another child comes in complaining of a stomach ache, another child fell and hit their head, and our health aide is assessing the damage and whether or not the child needs further medical attention. And that's all before the TK5 school day even begins. Much of the rest of the day is the same. Our health aide can be seen moving from location to location consistently throughout the day due to calls that require her attention. She doesn't even have time to stop and eat her lunch. She eats when she gets home because there's simply not enough time in the day. How are we going to sustain this level of attention, care, health, and wellness if we cut our health aides? You may say, well, we aren't cutting them all. Each site will still have one assigned at least part of the days of the week. So how does that work? Little David can only have issues with his insulin on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Little Sarah can only require attention for her asthma on Mondays and Wednesdays. I don't think it works like that. And who will take care of all the things once we don't have a health aide? Teachers and support staff already have full classes of kids and other obligations to attend to. And our classes, for the most part, are maxed. Our health aides are some of our hardest, most dedicated workers at our sites, and we cannot afford to lose them. The health and wellness of our student body depends on them. Before you vote to cut something our sites truly need, I encourage you to shadow a health aide for a day and see how much support they provide our schools and students. Please don't make a hasty decision before you know how it truly impacts our students. After all, the students are why we're all here.
Thank you very much. Megan Choplin.
Hi, my name is Megan Choplin, and I'm an LVN for the Marysville School District. I have been in this role for over 8 years. I'm here to discuss the health aide layoff and how it will impact our students and schools. My goal is to ensure the district leaders, our board members, and our community make an informed decision when it comes to the health and wellness of our students. We are currently staffed with 2 registered nurses, 2 LVNs, and 16 health aide 1s. The elimination of 12 positions will leave Health Services Department short-staffed and attempting to provide direct care to students across the district, leaving our schools without a full-time health aide or LVN. Without adequate health staff, our students' medical care will be provided by secretaries, attendance clerks, and outreach consultants. These positions have their own job descriptions that do not include providing medical care to students on a daily basis. These staff members likely do not have any medical background or training. Many of our schools have numerous students with a variety of medical conditions that require ongoing care. Reducing staff members that directly serve our students at the sites will have a negative impact on student attendance. I am currently assigned to our Boga Elementary, which is the first TK through 8th grade school in the district. My office is a constant flow of students, ranging from injuries to illnesses, as well as management of chronic health conditions. My role includes assessing students' health to determine if they fit criteria to be sent home or if they are well enough to stay at school. I am in communication with my parents to support students with chronic medical conditions such as asthma. My role is to ensure they receive necessary medical interventions, such as scheduled inhaler administrations or preventative care to prevent exacerbation of asthma symptoms, which lead to more student absences. Our families have peace of mind knowing our children are receiving quality medical care from staff with a medical background. Along with managing chronic and acute medical conditions, I am responsible for a multitude of reports and tasks required by the state of California. I'm responsible for maintaining immunization records, inputting the data, and notifying parents of any missing immunizations. I also schedule the state-mandated hearing and vision screenings, inputting that data, and notifying parents and teachers of student results. I am responsible for the maintenance of the school's AED, as well as being trained on how to use it in the event of an emergency. Our schools are in need of medical support from trained medical staff more than ever. The district and board members should know the medical needs at every school site prior to cutting staff for lack of work. My current school site has a long list of healthcare plans and over 45 medications on site. Please take this into consideration when determining if and how many health aides should be laid off for lack of work. My biggest concern is returning next August with a lack of trained medical staff to support our students, leading to an increase in emergencies and a decrease in student attendance. District leaders and board members should wait to vote on this matter until they have been.
I'm sorry, you've used your time, but thank you very much for your comment. Malia Nelson.
Hey everyone, I'm a health aide at Johnson Park Elementary. My name is Emily Nelson, so thank you guys for giving me a few minutes of your time tonight. I just kind of want to touch on, I have a ton of medications. When I started at JP in the 21-22 school year, I had one inhaler. We had to upgrade our medicine cabinet. We now have 11 EpiPens, so I have 11 students who have such severe allergies that they need an EpiPen on our campus. One of which I spent 45 minutes one morning watching his face to make sure it wasn't going to swell up and need to administer an EpiPen before his mom could get there to administer liquid Benadryl that we didn't have orders for on campus. And that's not including my celiac student who has to eat on a placemat in her classroom and in the cafeteria. That's not including a diabetic, innumerable inhalers and asthmatics on my campus. And that's not including all the random head injuries. I've called 911, I think 4 or 5 times this school year, just for severe enough injuries or illnesses. One was a stridor situation in PE, when, just in case you're not familiar with stridor, when a student inhales, it sounds like this. It's really kind of startling. She was experiencing that during PE, had to call 911 because she couldn't breathe and we didn't have an inhaler on campus for her. And then 2 of which of those emergency calls were for my severe food allergy student, where he kind of likes to eat whatever and kind of is not honest with me. So I kind of have to follow him really closely. And we're sitting at an enrollment of 457 kids at Johnson Park. 11 EpiPens is a lot for that current enrollment. And our students will very much suffer without having someone on campus. Their safety is really important. That's why we do what we do. That's why all of us work at the schools that we work at, is for kids and for their health. And these are someone's babies, right? I'm a mom of a 20-month-old right now, and I can't imagine if my daughter was enrolled in a school that didn't have access to somebody who could appropriately triage her and determine if this was an emergency call or a non-emergency call, and it was just a call to mom or dad to come pick her up. So as a mom, as a health aide, you know, if anything, if we could table this tonight for further discussion to make sure that we are making an informed decision moving forward for next school year for the safety and the health of our students. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our last public comment is Jenna Hahn.
Good evening. My name is Jenna Hahn, and I have the pleasure of serving the students of Ella Elementary School. At my site, we have 84 students with documented health needs. We have 14 students with known medications on site, but many more that should have at least an inhaler with them, if not an EpiPen, but parents have not brought them. The most common condition at my site is asthma, but we also have several students with ADHD, heart conditions, a seizure disorder, food allergies, and even a diabetic. I've heard recently that we are viewed as Band-Aid pushers and contact tracers in a time where contact tracing doesn't happen. I'm here to say we do so much more. We are an integral part of the team at any and all of our sites. I can honestly say my site handles their own Band-Aids on the playground. They utilize me minimally for that. Daily, I see students with complaints of tummy aches, and it's my job to try to keep them in school. I do everything I can to determine another cause other than illness to keep them in that seat where they can learn, because as educators, that is our goal. I try to get them a snack if it's hunger. I try to encourage them or even arrange for them to meet at the Gator Marsh, which is our safe space with our wellness para and our counselor. The past 82 days of school attendance, I have spent time documenting all the visits I can with students, and it's worth considering. I have spoken with at least students at least 741 times due to stomach aches, headaches, bloody noses, an injury including head injuries, bee or wasp stings, and more. Our secretarial staff would have to handle that, as well as the 126 med passes they have handled during this school year. They would have had to manage at least 2 911 calls. And last but not least, they would have had to manage with our diabetic 126 contacts. This ranges from very quick blood sugar checks before lunch or PE to 15 to 30-minute interactions due to a blood sugar low, or hour to 2 hours spending time encouraging that student to drink their water because it's too cold to drink water, or they just don't want water, but their blood sugar's high, so they need to drink to bring that down. If health and wellness truly is our priority here at MJUSD, I really urge you to reconsider until you have the full picture. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the board?
Yes, I got a quick question, Dr. Simon. We're looking at 12 individuals, is that correct?
It's 12 positions, not individuals. I believe it's, at last count, it's 9 or 10 individuals, but there's 12 positions.
And out of that
some work multiple sites.
Out of that 9 or 10, how many we looking at reassigning or bringing back?
Yeah, good question. So we have committed and met with OE3, their bargaining unit, and I met with them personally as Brian, our director of wellness, and our assistant superintendent of administrative services, Brian Williams, met with them, explained that I was committed to meeting when the board took action with each and every one of them on an individual basis to work on transitioning them if they wanted to elect to do so into other positions in the district that they were qualified for. The question came about, let's say it was a paraeducator position. If they weren't qualified, what would we do? In working with adult education, we've already secured an education kind of boot camp, so to speak, to get them prepared for the para test. But we also have some community schools-based grant-funded positions that are just going to be coming available that would be a good fit. Similar type of wellness goals to health aid, but not as direct care or direct service to students as the positions they're currently in. So we'll continue to support them, and if they choose to elect to not continue to work in our district, that's understandable, but we will provide that support. We also have reviewed the job descriptions of our support staff, clerical staff in the office. Clerical staff prior to health aides was responsible for checking on students, is in their job description to do record keeping, even administering first aid is in some of their job descriptions. So I want to make sure that that is, that we have a clear understanding of that. And Brian and I and the wellness director have reviewed all the staffing projected for next year, with 2 LVNs remaining, 2 district nurses, a contracted nurse, and a total of 8 health aid ones through the 24 sites. We feel we can adequately staff the sites. We will need the support of the clerical staff, but they provided that support prior to COVID.
And I understand you mentioned that with the supplanting, I understand that, and I had no idea of that, but I'm assuming that these workers have been with this since the starting of the ESSER 1 funds?
So the majority of the ones affected were hired in 2021 during the pandemic or just after the pandemic started. And the original intent of those positions was to do contact tracing and all the requirements for contact, looking at contacts within 5 feet to inform parents and the school community who was impacted by COVID.
So we've had employees who have been fairly loyal for the last 2 or 3 years, is that correct?
Sure.
Okay. I find it very difficult to look at this. We've got a lot of creative minds here in the creative community. If we can finance a track, not 1 but 2, I think we could figure out a way to make this work. So my recommendation right now is to table this. It does not make sense to me right now. That's my 10 cents.
Well, all I know is as a high school teacher for 30 years, without the nurse, I would have been lost. I mean, really. Yeah. So I agree with you. I'd table it too. I want to look into this more. I don't want to just fire them tonight or whatever term you want to use.
I'll also remind the board that we have a March 15th deadline to provide employee notifications and make sure the board understands that these health aides would remain employed for the remainder of the 23-24 school year. This would be in effect July 1, 2024, but the action is required by Education Code for classified employees by March 15th.
Understood. Thank you for the information.
No problem.
Are there any other comments?
I just want a clarification on the surplant rules. When you mentioned it, was that surplant rule for the community school grants, or is that for the ESSER fund grant?
I'll ask Ms. Basalia to help me with that one.
I'm sure the community grant does not have supplanting. There's no supplanting with the community grant.
Yeah. So what is confusing for me is that it wouldn't be supplanting because the current position are funded by ERSA, and they are primarily the duty around that position is around contact tracing, right? So would it not be fair to argue that any role in regards to direct medical intervention would not be supplanting an existing duty that somebody's doing, given the fact that the funding for these health aides are funded by ERSA funds, whose job is for contact tracing and not for doling out medical needs?
So I appreciate the question and the thought. The Health Aid 1 positions, although funded by ESSER funds, which is our COVID funds, have a job description, most of which doesn't include contact tracing.
Oh, okay. So the existing, so when we got the ERSA funding, we applied it to the health aid in order to meet the requirements of contact tracing, if I understand it correctly.
We had existing positions, and then we added that many positions with those funds to provide additional support to the sites for contact tracing.
Okay, so then second question is, given the fact that the positions are funded by ERSA funds, that means that we are not unique in the situation in regards to funding individuals that are doing this position. What are the nearby districts doing with their ERSA funding? Yuba-Sutter Unified, Wheatland, Plumas Lake, what are they doing with those funding, and how are they funding with it?
Yes, so I don't have that information readily available. We certainly can inform the board and provide that information.
Any other comments?
I have a question. Have we had and I don't know if Jenna, if you can answer this, or what, I'm sorry, I forgot your name, the LVN that spoke, or Dr. Simon. Have we had a significant rise in cases of diabetes and asthma since before the ESSER funds with COVID came in? I'm wondering if there are related effects that aren't actually just COVID. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're asking. If there's an increase in diabetic students or diabetic children, right? But I don't have that access to that information. They might be able to answer the.
I think, Mr. Carr, you had some information from OE3. Was that correct on that data? The data you presented on some of the things?
Please come to the microphone.
From my particular site, I have been at Erboga for the last 5 years, and my medication list and my healthcare plans have increased exponentially. I have 46 students at the school site this year with asthma, and 24 of them have medications readily available at school, and that's increasing, pretty frequently. I fax medication orders almost weekly.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I've heard some conflicting things from both sides, and I understand that a lot of the health aides came on board before you were with us. But to clarify for everybody, the health aides, and maybe some that are here, the ones that are brought on, were 100% of them informed that their positions were temporary.
It's my understanding that those positions, when they were created prior to me serving in this position, they weren't notified via the posting, which we typically would do, and we do now if they are grant funded.
Okay, so some of them could have accepted a position not knowing that they'd be let go within 3 or 4 years.
So there's some time accounting with some of those positions, federal time accounting, that would hopefully lead them to the conclusion that they were federally funded, but the district should and has made a practice now, since I've been established in the department, of informing staff when there's limited funding for a position. We just put it as part of the job posting so they know when they accept it and we also put the range of that position when it expires, the funding. That doesn't mean that position will go away. It just means the funding for it that is when you got hired is only temporary.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I would like to advise or suggest to the board that we table this until February and give staff additional time to work out if there is another way to fund these positions. We've got a window that we just learned about yesterday at our LMI meeting that we can apply for additional community types of funding. And motion is, yeah.
I know what you're saying. I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah, that's what, you need a motion to table, right?
Yes. Okay. Are you making the motion? Yes, sir. Okay. We have a motion from Frank, and then a second by Derek Criddle. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion is tabled till February. We have one more item. We have the 21.1, approve the 2023-24 first interim financial report. You can sit.
Thank you. Tonight I have a presentation on our first interim. Dan, if you'll play it.
Thank you guys for attending.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders, or even yourself, has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.